Today marks World Mental Health Day. We're also still in hurricane season, so we want to take a few minutes right now to give families the tools to help keep children calm in case of a storm. Mom and Dad,
3 dogs, 2 cats, 2 kids.
Jen and Alex in Jupiter Farms
We can roll this down.
have done a lot to help their home
Just take the bucket and drop it per each horse. It's all ready to go.
and their animals
This is Ligero.
better weather a storm.
We kind of go into work mode.
But getting their young son and daughter to stay calm,
We kind of just live in stress.
that's a whole other front.
She wants to know everything and have her contingency plans.
Jen and Alex tell me when in storm mode, they're mindful of their own energy to help keep the peace with the kids.
I think you can't put out that stress because they're going to feel that, and then that's going to make them more anxious.
That thought,
The children will feed off of our energy.
echoed by therapist for the Center for Child Counseling, Darla Mullinex.
It's really showing them through your own body language, through verbal, nonverbal cues.
Is it important to also be considering the mental health of your family in a situation where a hurricane's coming, especially for kids?
Most certainly, yes. And so there's lots of things that you can do to prepare.
Like opening up the conversation with kids well before a storm hits.
Asking them questions about what are they most scared of if a storm comes. Is it loud noises? Is it power outages?
Mullinex says validate the concerns and make sure you're close enough during the talk for a hug.
It's going to give that sense of connection that the child has with you, that they really are seeing that you are trying to understand what they might be expressing.
She says watch for these signs to know if a child's stress in a storm is too much and they might need to work with a professional. Big changes with eating or sleeping routines, withdrawn at home or at school. And one more piece of advice from Mullinex. Get the kids involved with the preps.
Going to the store together with the child, having them pick out the items and maybe check them off on the list.
It's a tip that's worked for this family.
Making horse feed or putting away canned food or checking the propane for the generator, and get them involved and keep them wrapped up in it and occupied.
There's such a great family we spoke to in the Jupiter Farms area. That therapist we also spoke to, Darla Mullinex, says, while adults, of course, have to maybe be glued to the coverage, the TV, the radio for updates, try and limit that media exposure for children. Do you guys remember this? Longtime Floridians here, during a storm, being the kid in the room.
Yeah, well, I was living in West Palm as a little girl when Hurricane Andrew was a threat. You were in the area as well. I remember my parents, I was young, but I still remember picking out flashlights. We thought it was so fun to have our own little flashlights. My sister and I just kind of made that a game. And
one of the first pieces of advice she offered up was get the kids involved, just like you're describing. Do you feel like it helped calm you down as a kid?
Absolutely. We never understood the severity of what was coming our way.
To me, it felt like days. I was in Kendall, Southwest Miami-Dade, so almost in the heart. And the sound is the most traumatic thing. As a 5-year-old, I will tell you, if you have a 5-year-old and you go through that, that's going to be the scariest. But my mom said I was consoling her. She was a nervous wreck.
Wow. All the more reason, too, like the therapist said, to talk to your children well in advance. Maybe talk about how the sounds might be really loud, but we've planned, we're keeping you safe. Give them a heads up.